Night was going good, wrote a couple of rhymes, took a break to eat to hopefully match a couple of lines that he left at the top of the stairs of his temple. Ancestor said relax to be fair to his mental. He complied, then placed his writing utensil on the pad where he was writing, keeping it simple. Left his room in order, then entered the kitchen. As he approached the meal, his stomach began to mention to his memory. You know your mom gets down with the culinary arts from the soul, touches mine, she's a legend.
So again, thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is B. Chantel, and now I am joined with two cast members. We have Miss Montrice Eileen and the franchise. Ooh. The franchise, James Gordon. How are you guys this evening?
I'm doing great.
Good, good, good.
God, that was scintillating. Oh my, the way you said that.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
I'm glad. I'm
Ooh,
glad.
my night is made.
Right.
Back with my
got
wifey
him
again.
started.
That's your wife in
Yes.
the film?
In the film.
So let's dive into that. Tell us about your characters.
Okay, so in the film, look, I'm the wife, so I just decided I would go
Ladies first.
I play Esther. I'm Miles' mother.
Okay.
So, and this is my very handsome husband, Caleb, the firefighter.
Okay, so Esther and Caleb.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
Very biblical.
Very, very biblical. It may have some meaning. I got to ask Mr. Parker about that, if it's a hidden meaning behind that. But what motivated you two to audition for the film REM?
The role, okay.
Yes, give me all the juicy details.
The role I auditioned for was the role of Caleb, the father. As a father, and I was trying to get around it, but a couple of years ago, my daughter passed away. And so I've been very fortunate, and the Lord is a funny dude. I've been cast in a number of father roles along the pathway. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you on, you know what I mean? And so I wanted that role. And I got cast for something else and then recast as the role I was supposed to be cast for. I'm trying to make sure I see you so I can look right at you, because I never got a chance to look at it. I was looking at, where's the camera at? I was making sure I looked at my director here so he'll know the antagonism I had towards him doing that. Okay, all right, I love you now, but I had stuff with you. So that was my motivation for auditioning for that role.
Nice. So what about you?
Well, for me, at the time, I was really just breaking into the acting space. And prior to REM, I had only done one student film. So I was really just looking for opportunities, anybody that would give me a chance to get my foot in the door, give me some camera time. And here was REM. And I read the synopsis and I said, you know what, that sounds interesting.
And that's so unbelievable that this is her first film. That's totally unbelievable, because she came with it.
Nice.
She embodied that character totally.
I've been told I'm a natural.
It was-
But,
It's a great balance.
that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
We love a good natural, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So with that being your first role outside of the student film, how did you prepare for it? I mean, you are a father, so I'm sure that came natural to you, but how did you prepare for that, for this particular role?
Well, I'm a mother
Okay.
as well. And so the nurturing piece of it, that, I don't know if you have children, but once you have a couple, it's kind of in there. You can't really get rid of it. But, aside from that, it was more, learning my lines, using the people around me to help me get truly into the character. Because what I will say is Esther and we're both mothers, but we're different types of mothers. As Esther is the gentle parenting, I'm not.
And ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? Sometimes they need a little,
Yeah.
And what about you?
Well, this was an interesting dynamic. I really didn't want to use the word interesting because people overuse it and misuse it so much. It was an intriguing dynamic with Branford and myself, because he said, hey, listen, you're this father, I need you to be it this way. So it was a shift. And he also worked with my articulation. He said, hey, you're too articulate. He said, I need you to be like a Southside black father.
Sloppy
I said,
it up a little bit.
So I went and watched some of The Chi to get myself, immersed into the character a bit more. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So since we're talking about your relationship with Mr. Parker, Mr. Branford, my stylist, what was your first impression of him and the production team, and how did that compare to your impression after you guys have spent time together?
You could tell he was the general. You could tell there was certain expectations he had. So I didn't particularly care for him at first because he didn't give me my props. Like, we're in the chat, and I was telling people where they asked you to tell what you've done. So I'm telling what he's done, and he says, you don't think I remember this. He says, and I quote, "Has anybody heard of this guy in the chat?" I'm like, man, was he trying to, so I muted. And I said, hey, bro, man, you hear this? I said, what's up, bro? Hey, man. Okay, cool, it's cool. But I understood that he has a certain level of expectation. Nothing impresses him until it impresses him. And so once he saw that, hey, I've done these things, and this is just the things I've done, but I'm coming to work. And we had an exchange, the pizza day. We were just talking about that, the pizza day on that Sunday, that lengthy Sunday in this beautiful home. I had another shoot. And I was letting him know, hey, I'm going to another shoot after this whenever we're done. And he says, hey, well, what if I would have kept you longer? And I said, well, I just would have stayed longer. I'm rocking with you, first and foremost. And simply because we're the same. You know, we're in different time periods of this life thing, but we're the same. And whatever I can do to facilitate his success, I want to do it, so.
Nice, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's good to have that kind of support system, and of course we got to support each other,
Yes,
so
indeed. Yes,
I appreciate that a lot. And so how does this, because you've been in other films, correct?
Yes.
And after this film, I know you did the one previously, have you done anything since?
Oh, I have been, I think, yes.
Cooking with gas.
I think REM was a launch pad, and it's crazy because it hasn't even been released yet. But what it did for me, it gave me a confidence, and so I just started going after roles, and God has been blessing me left and right.
I love that.
Just this, I'm doing 3 films this month.
Nice. Okay,
Yes.
come on and work. I love
Yes,
I love
so-
to be somebody that's working.
Yes.
So how does this compare to the other films that you have done? How does REM compare to any of the other films that you have done?
Well, for me, it set a standard because, as I said before, this was my first paid role, and going into it, I was very intimidated by that because everybody, I mean, this guy, was like, oh, so, right. So I was intimidated going into it, and as James said, Branford was definitely the man in charge, but at the same time, the direction that he gave, he was patient with me because there were a couple of scenes where he said, he was like, look, I need you to bring it, put the lines in your forehead like you did the other day. So, with that, it was empowering in a way that, oh, okay, yeah, I did something day before yesterday, and it was a good thing. So, okay, let me feed off of that. But it just helped. It was a catalyst for me, and I have been enjoying this ride.
I love that for you so much. And Mr. Gordon, how about you?
Everybody was really close-knit. You could tell that Branford had chosen. No one just lucked upon this, or somebody told. He picked everybody, and it was like a machine. I was just talking about Ben, and Ben is over there somewhere. I mean, he was the MVP. On that Sunday, he went and got the pizzas. He was in the scene. He was PAing everything. He was doing everything, but that was just indicative of the type of vibe that we had going on. It was very hands-on production, and a lot of directors don't give you the lost the word. They don't give you the reasoning behind what they're asking you to do. He would always say, and we'd had a lot of sides where he would say, hey, the reason I want this is such, or so and so, and I said, I got you.
Put in perspective.
I could definitely get,
It
okay,
helps-
sure, no
it
sweat.
helps
So
you relate to the character that you're playing.
very much so.
Yeah.
So that was dope.
I love that. And shout out to Ben, wherever you are.
Ben.
So I will ask you this, then what was the most challenging aspect of the shoot, of shooting the movie REM? What was the most challenging aspect for you all?
Wow.
I can say for myself, the biggest challenge was getting out of my own way. Because as I said, I was intimidated. Everybody there had, so much more experience than I did. And so getting out of my way, immersing myself in the character was the most challenging part for me.
Okay, I love that. And how about you, Mr. Franchise?
Everything that has to do with being a father is always a bit, there's some trepidation for me because I'm still, I'm going to be forever mourning going forward. So I have to remember, hey, you're in this role, stay here. Don't let whatever you got, your baggage is or whatever, interrupt your acting. So that's the thing. And then once you check it, once I check it, it's good. But it's there. You know what I mean? It's present. Yeah.
Emotions into the character that you're playing. Nice. Okay. So give me the nitty gritty. If you could play another role, I know you were supposed to play another role, but if you could have played another role, would you have chosen a different role to play, and why?
I don't think there was anything else for me. I was supposed to. The dynamic that we shared, that Matthew and I and then the three of us shared, it was palpable. You could see that when we were finally cast, some of us in the right role. Oh, there he is. It was what it was supposed to be, because it clicked. So I wasn't supposed to be anything else.
Nice. And you?
Well, the other mom in the film, Shayna, I auditioned for both roles, Shayna and Esther. And the role that I wanted to play, that I thought I was a better fit for, was Shayna. And that's because she was the type of mom that I am. So for me, it wouldn't have been acting. It would have just been, okay, I'm calling the boy by a different name because this is, this is who I am. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful that I played the role of Esther because it allowed me to stretch. Because had I had the role of Shayna, I would have been on screen being Montrice, and there was no development in that. I've been rehearsing for that role my entire life. So.
There was another mom?
Yes, there was another mom.
I felt like that was a real moment right there between.
All my scenes.
Well, no, she wasn't. You didn't have it.
No, all my scenes were with you.
Yes.
So I never knew. I
Like,
thought we were the movie. I ain't gonna lie to you. Except for the scenes he had by himself.
We made the movie.
Except for the scenes he had, because he was the main character. The scenes he had on his own, I was like, hey, it's us. I didn't know another family. For real?
Yes, baby. There was a whole other family.
Love, you gotta keep me in the loop.
Right.
Write me a note or
Right,
something.
keep them aware, okay? You know how we do, keep them aware. So I love the feeling of it being a family dynamic within the cast. So I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'm going to give you a chance to answer. So would you work for Branford Marsalis Productions again if given the opportunity?
Easily.
Yes,
Easily.
definitely.
So I love the aspect of family. It feels like you guys were a really close-knit family as far as the cast is concerned. I want to bring your son, Miles, is his name in the movie, but Matt Sneed is the actual character. I want to bring him in. So we'll be back with Miles and Esther and Caleb in a few short moments.
So happy that I found that rhyme. I'm ecstatic, nostalgic, asthmatic. Dealing with my siblings, their counts were problematic. Crimes they thought were funny, I figured them pathetic. Almost made me lose my mind 3 times. Struck out with 3 lines.